Hey everybody, it's Mandy Ray with Ecstatic Astrology, coming to you live from outer space. I mean, we are floating through outer space, but actually I'm in the parking lot of my daughter's volleyball tournament. And she actually may be playing a game right this moment, but you got to make it work and do things when you can. So she won her first game. Haha! Yay! Let's all put her some good energy for the next game. So really love that she's passionate about this. But enough about me. Today's Saturday, August 21st. It's 11 a.m. And we have a full moon tomorrow, Central Time, 7:01 a.m., August 22nd. It's a full moon in Aquarius. We've already had a full moon in Aquarius a month ago at the very beginning of Aquarius. So what is Aquarius? It's freedom, it's innovation. It's especially at the beginning of Aquarius, where the last full moon was, it's very new energy. So when you start a sign, you're learning how to do it, okay? And that's natally. So, but that's true for transits as well. So a full moon at the beginning of Aquarius is bringing your attention to, where do I want freedom? What does that notion even mean to me? This is what it means, okay? So then we had a new moon in Leo, creative self-actualization. What do I want for myself? What does my inner child want? What is my creative purpose here? So now it's the next full moon in Aquarius. It's sort of a blue moon, astrologically speaking. And it's at the 29th degree, the very last degree of Aquarius. So it's a completion. We've done a lot of work in Aquarius. Please find where Aquarius is in your chart. It's very important for this period of time. And then we've also got some outer planets there, okay? The first full moon was pretty close to Saturn. I mean, not really. It was at the first degree, but it is important because it is where the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction was on December 21st, 2020. That's where the previous full moon in Aquarius was. It highlighted that. And this full moon, being at the 29th degree of Aquarius, is very near to Jupiter, within like 3 or 4 degrees, I think. Let me see. Yeah, 3 degrees. So, whereas the first full moon may have brought your attention to how you're innovating structures in your life, this full moon is bringing an emotional awareness to what is true for you in regards to Aquarius. Freedom, future, innovation, change, to a certain extent structure, because Aquarius is a Saturn sign. But Saturn in Aquarius and Jupiter in Aquarius really are looking for how to innovate structure, innovate rules, change rules, do it better. Aquarius rules societies, groups of people. You have to be able to work together when you're in a group of people. But Jupiter, where this full moon is really about what is true for you in reality. And so I think shedding light on the truth of a matter is definitely possible for this full moon in Aquarius. So it's possible that we'll have some awareness of maybe a shift in what is true for us, especially in regards to our future direction, becoming aware of, like maybe I want to go this direction, or maybe actually that does not align with my truth. It could be shocking in a way because Aquarius tends to, I would use upheaval. The modern ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. Uranus has been active, very active, and at this full moon is active. So, it could be a little bit of a, whoa, I didn't realize that was true for me. Okay. Let me speak to this Uranus thing as well. Uranus is at 14 degrees of Taurus, and it's just recently stationed retrograde. during this full moon, it happens to be nearly exactly trine to Mars. Mars is in Virgo. Mars and Mercury are together. Mercury has just met up with Mars. So this is almost a whole other subject completely, but because this Uranus-Mars trine is exact at the full moon, it's charging this full moon, okay? Now, Mars is action, will, and in Virgo, we're taking action on our health, on discernment. I call Virgo the pruning side. We're pruning things in reality. Virgo to me is dust, it's mutable earth, so we're getting down to the nitty-gritty details. While that Mercury Mars was coming into an exact conjunction, I think that was Wednesday, on the build up to that, for me, it was very stressful. And I talked about that in my last video. It was very stressful. I think that stress is released a little bit now that Mercury is past it, but we're definitely getting down to the gritty details of how we work, what we do every day, our routines. Things could be upended because Mercury also trined Uranus already, and now Mars is trying Uranus. So it's almost as if we're realizing we have to do this differently. We have to, in order to move forward, we're going to have to shift some things in our everyday lives, in our reality. It's Earth, Earth, Earth. Okay, so this full moon in Aquarius with Jupiter, you can see it's like a lot of change is in the air. Good change. Hopefully change that will help us prepare for the next few months, because the next few months are full, astrologically speaking. I mean, it never slows down. There do seem to be less stressful time periods, that's for sure. And Uranus square Saturn this year has been a little bit of a push, okay? This full moon, to me, is going to shed some light on how we need to do things. I think is really, it's a very ultimately Saturn ruled thing, even though it's with Jupiter. Jupiter is in Saturn's domain. But it's a help. I mean, you have Jupiter expansion, Saturn contraction. When they're in the same sign, they're both working towards that in this very fluid, breathing in and out sort of way. So there's some more stuff happening. Let's talk about it. We just talked about Uranus trine Mars, a shift in our desires, a shift in how we move forward, how we literally act on things based on values that may be shifting. Saturn, I just mentioned it. Saturn is rules, structure, boundaries. It's buildings. I mean, it's bones, okay? Framework. And we're innovating that framework. Both Jupiter and Saturn are retrograde. We're thinking about it differently, okay? Now, Saturn happens to be making a very lovely trine to both the North Node and Venus. Not exact by degree, but off only about 2, okay? Actually, no, 1 degree. Venus is at 7, North Node's at 7, Saturn's at 8. So it's a very lovely air trine. When Saturn and Venus make trines together, oh, it's just gorgeous, because it is adding a lot of balance. Now, when you're talking about air, to me, that is mercurial. Air is thinking, communicating, it's inspiration, it's what's floating around. The North Node is in Gemini, very mercurial. In fact, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, okay? Mercury happens to be in its home sign of Virgo. So this is a mercurial trine. We're getting our stuff together for this full moon. We're seeing how to do it. Venus is like, yeah, this is how you balance things out. This is how you talk to people. Now, it takes work, right? It does take work. Both Saturn and Venus are making a sextile to the South Node. We are really shedding an old story. And that's what the eclipses have been about anyway, shedding the old story, shedding the old truth. So very Jupiter, here we go. We're shedding these truths for this full moon. This is a kite, okay? I'll briefly, because I think I should, share the chart. Here we go. I'm not going to keep it up the whole time, but I do want you to see. Where's my little pointer spotlight? That's what I want. Here we go. We got the South Node here, North Node here. That's the eclipses. And they're making this kite possible. So here's Saturn, North Node, Venus, making that really great grand trine. The tip of the kite is the South Node. It's supposed to be sort of the way out. And the way out is, now that we've discovered maybe a new way of going about things, a new way of structuring things, we really have to let go of something that we've been telling ourselves. We may have to let go of, in a way, something that we've dug our heels in, so to speak, in terms of belief. I find South Node in Sag, I have it natally, meaning I was born with the South Node as Sagittarius. Really does a lot of work on two things: knowing you're right, and then knowing when to say you're wrong. Okay? What is the truth of the matter? I had a really good friend tell me something one time that helped me a lot. I'm going to go ahead and stop this share now. You can see the full moon though. There's the sun, there's the moon, sun in Leo. Stop this share. I had a friend tell me a story, and it was about the truth. And he had a soda can, and he sat it down in the middle of the room. And he said, "What do you see from your side?" He was on the other side of it. And I said, "I see the ingredients." And he said, "That's not what I see. My truth is what I see. Your truth is what you see. But the whole truth is the whole entire thing." And so I encourage you for this full moon to try to walk around the soda can, okay? See all sides of the truth. The truth will surface, period. Okay? It's going to. So let me also talk about, let's see, anything else. I really do need to touch on the Leo aspects, because the new moon was in Leo. And that was really planting a seed for us to be in our authenticity, in our true selves, in our heart. It also planted a seed for compassion. Leo is the heart chakra. It's that open, loving part, okay? And I think the build up to this full moon may have had us challenged a bit on compassion, especially with that first quarter square of the moon in Scorpio. I was love was really on my mind during that time, and I was really touched by just being grateful for life itself. Not soon after that, though, again, I was challenged. You know, I'm vaccinated. I'm a proponent. There's no reason for me to hide that. It is contentious right now, and that's, you know, I'm not going to make commentary, because I do feel like that is divisive. I am going to tell you it's right for me. And so right after that first quarter square moon, you know, someone came up to me basically telling me that limbs were going to fall off, and my daughter, who was vaccinated, is not going to be able to have children. And you can imagine how that challenged my heart. My heart loves. I want to love people very much. I want things to feel peaceful. I have Venus in Libra. Exactly. It was my Venus return last night. So that was a difficult moment for me. How do you love people in a moment like that? Okay. People who you love may be on a completely different side of the soda can, and they're seeing a different truth. And it's just the facts. And I'll tell you what's not going to help: divisiveness and anger. It's not. I don't care what side of the story you're on. I really don't. I understand there's strong feelings. And to that I say, voice them, but with love. You have to. You have to say where you're coming from a Jupiter place, from a loving, this is true for me place, okay? In the long run, the truth is what's in the soda cans in the soda can, and no one can change that, no matter what side of the can they see. Okay, so the truth is the truth. We'll all see in the long run what's going to happen there, okay? But my point is, being divisive at this moment is I just don't believe it's helpful, because the truth itself, when it is shown, will do all that work. Okay. And then I read the Sabian symbol for this full moon, because I know that this is a contentious time, and that's really hard for people. Let's just call it what it is. I'm not gonna, gloss over these things. There's no reason to. It's reality. It's what's going on in reality. So I'm trying to pull up the Sabian symbol, because what I thought to myself was, man, I'm not the only one. Like, in terms of ancestry, okay? Our ancestors literally had to fight off mastodons. That's ridiculous. Mastodons didn't attack. Whatever. They had to hunt mastodons to live. Okay, and this is the truth for everybody. Your ancestors have been through plagues. Did you know that? They're here. So when you get to a moment where you think, this feels like the end of the world, I encourage you to think about your ancestry, okay? And think about what they had to endure, what they had to go through for you to be alive. And they plagues, they've been through plagues. They've been vaccinated or not. They've starved. They've had famine. And they somehow made it. And here you are. So let me read you the Sabian symbol, because this is, every degree of the zodiac has a word picture. This is what the Sabian symbols are. I call it a word picture because it's the best way to describe it. And it really is always amazing to me how true it is for the moment. So the Aquarius 29, Aquarius 30 is what you would read for the Sabian symbol for this full moon, is moonlit fields. Once Babylon are blooming white. Moonlit fields, once Babylon are blooming white. Do you hear the word Babylon? Hopefully you think of ancient city, okay? Because it was. So this symbol shows learning from the past, possibly great civilizations like Babylon, and taking the seeds from the past and making even greater achievements in your own time and place. Even though the grandeur of the past may be lost, changed, or damaged by war or time, the energy and power remains. This symbol reflects the permanence of the natural essence of a place, a person, an idea, or a civilization. You may feel that you're in the right place at the right time. Your best qualities are recognized and appreciated. When you are following a true path, you're able to rely on the support of the universe in its flow. Rewards coming from efforts of past generations, ancestors surrounding, seeds of the past becoming the fruits of the present. The Middle East, fruits of culture, artifacts, these are all parts of this Sabian symbol. The Middle East. I think we all know what's going on in the Middle East, right? What continues to go on in the Middle East? An ancient thing hangs over that land. Okay, so you are an ancient thing. And this full moon wants you to remember that. It wants you to say, I can do this. It's hard, but I'm here. How can I make it work? Make it work. Even in the parking lot of the volleyball tournament, make it work. How can I adjust my life? How can I make it work? I really think that's what this full moon is asking everyone. So let me go ahead and look forward through to the next week, and then I'm going to go through the signs, and I think that'll be it. So the moon is full Sunday morning, 7:01 a.m. And it immediately moves into Pisces on Monday. That Mars-Uranus trine is exact, and not only does the moon move into Pisces on Monday, the sun moves into Virgo. So big shift already. It's almost like a full moon in Pisces, because this full moon, which interestingly is ruled by Jupiter, is on Jupiter in Aquarius at the very last anaretic degree. By the way, the degree of crisis is the anaretic degree. That's what it's called. Now, crisis just means you have to take action. So action is a big part of this, okay? And you're probably going to feel like you need to take action on something. But what? Find the truth of that. Sit with it for this full moon. Okay. I mean, because of Mercury's involvement with Mars as well, maybe the action needs to be on thinking outside of the box and really fine-tuning something. So the sun moving into Virgo just puts more emphasis on this Virgo flare of energy, which is, it's not really a flare. Like I said, it's like a dust. It's kicking up dust. How do we prune? How do we do this in a way that makes sense? It's routines, and of course, this is when people are going back to school and we're getting routines, right? It's health. And right now, the Delta variant is, surging. So that's what's, gonna be the theme of the next month. Good time to plan and tweak and make changes and prune and heal and do rituals and all of that. So the moon moving into Pisces, it's a little, let's see here, what is it going to do? I think that might just be enough of well, it's going to oppose Mars. That's right. So let me just go ahead and say this. Monday, the 23rd, the moon opposes Mars. Okay, so typically moon opposite Mars can be emotional outbursts. So you may have one of those, but because it's Pisces and Virgo, it's a little different. It may just want to escape, and it's like, I have all this work to do, and yes, I know I need to do it. Mandy said this is a good time to do rituals and work, but moon and Pisces opposite Mars may have you not really being able to immediately take action. So maybe sit with the full moon energy through Monday. I think that's a good idea. And maybe not just Monday, because the moon's in Pisces Tuesday as well. Let's see here. Yeah, Venus also Monday is still trine Saturn. So again, we can be figuring out where we need to put our energy in terms of, building our future. But this is also relationships and money. Venus always is relationships and money, especially at home in Libra. So, I think that's going to be nice for relationships, maybe nice for finances, but probably more so relationships and cooperation and things of that nature. Maybe thinking about the fall with your honey. What am I going to do? Okay, so Monday, the moon Tuesday. Or is it Monday night? Monday night, the moon hits Neptune. So dreams are going to be off the chain, and it's also opposing Mercury. Monday into Tuesday is going to be probably spacey. Okay. And if you've had a spacey time with all this Virgo, the reason being it kind of bounces off Pisces, it's going to just be more of that Monday into Tuesday. So you may have active dreams Tuesday night, some inspiration perhaps. Tuesday morning, the moon's still in Pisces. I'll say action comes probably when the moon moves into Aries, and that's going to be Tuesday afternoon. So things start to kick up a notch, let's put it that way. And maybe that's when we start to take action from this full moon. It really just starts to ramp up. Venus, still in early Libra, is moving to 10 degrees on Tuesday, which means it's getting closer to opposing Chiron. And that's something in and of itself we need to talk about. I may go into more detail feel like I still need to do a weekly report, but this may suffice as my weekly report. I think it makes sense, honestly. So let's talk about Venus opposing Chiron. That's going to be a pretty active Wednesday. Chiron is healing and wounding as well. So with Venus opposing it in Libra, to me, this is a synthesis. Venus opposing Chiron is like an awareness of a wound, maybe in a relationship, maybe in terms of someone you need to cooperate with, about striking a balance, fairness. I really like that because the moon will be there. So Wednesday morning, the moon's in Aries, meeting up with Chiron. Actually, that's lunchtime, opposing Venus and Vesta. This is a really nice, I think, soothing transit. You may hear a kind word from someone that says, I like you just the way you are. That's what I'm really hoping for. I think that'll be nice. It's in a loose sextile with Saturn. Venus is, coming off of that trine with Saturn. So maybe the confidence to move forward and act on these things on Wednesday. Anything else on Wednesday? Yes, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Tuesday night, actually Tuesday and Wednesday, Mercury is opposing Neptune, which can be really sweet. Like I said, especially with Venus opposite Chiron, that tends to be maybe like we'll feel some softness, but also can be confusion. Mercury opposite Neptune, it can be spaciness, it can be needing to escape, mentally speaking. So this may not be the best time for anything that requires like precise mental energy Tuesday into Wednesday. It does provide a nice spiritual, soothing sort of situation though, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay. So it's good for quiet healing, I think is a good way to say that. I really like the Venus Chiron Wednesday. I think that's going to be really nice, honestly. All right. Let's see what else. I don't want to miss anything. I'm trying to make sure I don't. Got through Wednesday. Thursday, the moon is still in Aries. And so what we get is Thursday. I think the energy for Thursday is going to be moon square Pluto. Moon square Pluto is brief, but can be intense, an intense realization emotionally of where you need to take power, where you want to push for independence, especially with the moon in Aries. Mercury is moving off of that opposition to Neptune, so things really kind of get clear. They clear up on Thursday. That holds most of the day. It's a pretty fiery day, probably really wanting to stake your claim, if that makes sense, and say, this is who I am. That makes sense with the day before, if there is this healing situation and we have the confidence to take our power back or say, no, you can't do that to me, or whatever the case may be, or I need the attention, So Friday overnight, the moon moves into Taurus, trines the sun that morning. We wake up, I think moon trine Saturn is going to be, oh my gosh, not trine, moon square Saturn on Friday. Moon square Saturn, again, brief, just like the moon square Pluto, but this is like perhaps some rules coming down on you Friday, okay? Or some authority or some work. And the moon is like, this is not what I want. I want to be comfortable in Taurus. I want my stuff. Taurus is my stuff, okay? My worth. Saturn in Aquarius is calling for the greater good. So you can see how this tension might come out. And then, of course, that's almost exact around 4 p.m. Friday. We get to where the moon hits Uranus overnight. So we wake up Saturday with this sort of rebellious attitude, like, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm pushing for freedom. Uranus is just recently retrograde, though. So you know, I even say this is more of a flipping the script than Uranus normally does when it's retrograde. All right. Saturday morning, Moon Uranus, pretty big deal. Moon trine Mars, pretty big deal. Yeah, I could say there may be a lot of change on that day, or a lot of emotional realization Saturday. It could be that it's like last hurrah for hanging out or something, because you don't want to get stuck inside, whatever the case may be. And then Saturday night, Moon trining Mercury, trining Pluto. This Saturday night seems to be like, trines are good. Pluto's just intense. Mercury and Virgo is being very nitpicky as well. So hopefully what this results in is the ability to take charge of a situation. It could be, you know, like a mental and emotional realization as well, with Mercury trine the moon that night. It's late though that it happens. Sunday, we got the moon in Gemini. Now, the other thing about Sunday is the sun is square to the nodes. Okay, so this is a midpoint from eclipse season. That's a good way to put it. Okay, and the moon happens to be visiting the node the same day. So this is going to bring up eclipse themes on Sunday. Fated events. It's an adjustment. So look to Virgo for that adjustment on Sunday the 29th. It helps you get from the South Node in Sag, which is trying to let go of a story, and the Moon and North Node in Gemini is asking you to mentally open your mind, maybe think differently, gather information, speak, share information. The Sun in Virgo is like, but first we need to get the routine right. We need to do some pruning. We need to do the discernment. So you can see how this Virgo is very active right now. I'll bring you to Monday the 30th because, by the way, that's active all day Sunday, FYI. And it's also the first quarter square of the moon. I'm sorry, third quarter square of the moon. So it's not just an adjustment from eclipse season, it's also an adjustment from this moon phase, and it's the last one. So yeah, pay definite attention. You guys know, if you've been following me, hopefully where your Gemini Sag is. If not, definitely look at your chart. Aquarius, Gemini, Sag, Virgo, important parts to look at right now. So yeah, Monday holds that energy, I'd say, for sure, because Monday is also the third quarter square of the moon. I would also look for Monday the 30th. We're going to start to have Mars opposing Neptune, which could deflate us a little in terms of how we're taking action. Neptune tends to do that, confuse us. Pay attention the week of the 30th, because you don't want to be acting on something that is brought on by delusion. That's the simplest way to say it. You do, however, want to take action on where spirit is pushing you to, okay? And the other thing that's really important about Monday the 30th is Mercury moves into Libra. I'll save that for next week when I do my weekly. But Mercury will retrograde in Libra, so we need to pay attention to it, okay? Just that's the best way to put it. Pay attention. Okay, that being said, let me go through very quickly the rising signs for the full moon. So we'll start with Aries, like normal. Aries, the full moon is in your 11th house. You're finding the truth in the groups of people that you keep around and your goals. So you may have an emotional awareness about what that is, okay? You're very supported. I would say by relationship with Venus there in the 7th house in Libra. So look to that if you need support. And friendships as well. The 7th house is not just about relationships, it's also friendships. So I think that's going to be a good place for you to draw on some help, is that Venus in Libra. Yeah, so I think goals, friend groups, and relationships are something that's going to be what you need to look at for this full moon. You may have some something come up, some awareness there. I will say Mercury and Mars are in your 6th house of health and daily life and work, and that could have been a spot of maybe frustration for you. That's begging for a shift during this full moon. Okay. Taurus rising, full moon in your 10th house. So career, life direction, public reputation, authority, mastery. There's going to be a realization there of maybe a truth of how you need to go about that. Venus is in your 6th house of work and daily life and routine. There's going to be some nice things coming out of that area, or some balance there, okay? Mercury and Mars are in your 5th house. The frustration could have been in the area of creativity, children, inner child, joy. Maybe it was like you were just so busy and fun was hard to come by. This full moon maybe says, but you've got the structure to be able to enjoy life, okay? Or maybe what you enjoy is being recognized at work, but it's definitely a career direction thing for you for this full moon. Work, career, health, routine, okay? Make sure you're having fun. That's what I'm gonna say. You desperately need that with Mercury, Mars in your fifth. Gemini risings. This is in, I think, truth area. What is my truth? What is my belief? Also, higher education. Basically life direction for you as well, Gemini rising. Now, Venus is in your 5th house. Children, love, romance, fun. Hopefully you're able to have some fun right now, because home may be the frustrating thing for you. You're looking for a change in that area, perhaps. At least right now, there's a lot of motivation to do things in the home, family. Also frustration there could have built up with that Mercury Mars conjunction. So that's also looking to shift there. But I think your creative abilities are something that's really bringing you some nice help right now. Okay, so Cancer rising. This full moon is in your 8th house of investments, other people's money, transformation. So this is a deep realization for you. It could have a lot to do with your ancestry, your family. Venus is in your 4th house. There's a lot of good things for you to pull on in home, emotional security. Now, Mercury Mars is in your 3rd house of how you think, how you make decisions. And maybe a decision is frustrating for you right now. Also, siblings could be a point of frustration. So look to maybe your home. Maybe you have a sacred space in your home, ritual, that sort of thing in your home area. But there's a lot of help coming from that home, a lot of nice cooling salve for this deep transformation that you're going through in the 8th house. Yeah, it's just a lot of shadow work, okay? Rest on your family, rest in your home, and realize that you're supported. Leo rising, this is in your 7th house of relationships. Full moon, definitely relationship oriented for you. There's realizations there. Venus is in your 3rd house, so you're also thinking about relationships as well, okay? I think you are very supported in your mental abilities right now with Venus in your 3rd house. It's like you're thinking on an even keel about your values, about what you truly want. Venus is very helpful there. It's also, the 3rd house rules short trips and community as well. So maybe your local community is a source of pleasure, beauty, of joy right now for you. Now, Mercury Mars is in your 2nd house. So frustration could have come from money and assets or your own resources, but that will be clearing up. But something may be needing to shift there because of that Uranus Mars trine. Virgo rising. This is in your 6th house of health, daily life, work, rituals. Okay, so that's where you're having emotional realizations about a truth there. Venus is in your 2nd house of resources, of assets. So that could be nice for you right this moment. And it could be that relationships are offering you some help in the money, or just love area. You're feeling a lot of self-worth. Mercury Mars is in your 1st house of independence, autonomy, and so it could be for identity, could be a frustrating thing for you right now. Lean on your self-worth, on the relationships in your life. I think that's very helpful, especially as you go through these work adjustments, as these daily routine adjustments. Okay. All right. Libra rising. This is in your 5th house of children, inner child, what you love, what joy is. So there's some truth there. You could have felt held back recently by that because Saturn's there, but right now it's like, how can you make room for joy, for fun, for creativity? Venus is in your 1st house of identity, autonomy, independent self, and so you're feeling yourself right now, Libra risings, and I think that's great. Okay, and that's where you need to be leaning on. Mercury Mars in your 12th house. There's the annoying thing for you is really not in the, like, you can't figure it out. It's like you're having to surrender to something. Let yourself be guided by your intuition right now. I think that's the best thing for you. But yeah, you're going to have a realization on what's true for you in terms of what's fun, what my creativity means, what is my purpose. Scorpio rising. Mars is in your 11th house. So public reputation, friend groups, what people think about you could be on the fritz. Okay. The full moon is in your 4th house of home and family, and that's where the truth is. Okay, your emotional security is in your home, in your family. Venus is in your 12th house. It's also in spirit. So this is a super spiritual full moon for you. Just rest on the fact that you're a good person, Scorpio rising. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody. Okay, nobody. If groups of people are frustrating for you right now, something's going to change there. You just got to believe it. Sag rising. We've got the full moon in your 3rd house of local community, decision making, how you think, how you speak your truth. And that's where you're going to have a truth or a realization. Now, Venus is in your 11th house of friend groups and networking. And so there's a lot of love there. I like that for you, Sag rising. You're finding a lot of truth in like your people right now. And that's going to also tie into this community thing. Whatever you're building a community, Sag rising. Mars and Mercury in your 10th house of career and public reputation and like career direction. So that could be a source of frustration for you, or could have been, but there's a shift coming there. And I think the answer is going to be in this community stuff and networking. All right. Cap rising. This for you is in your 2nd house of self-worth, finances, assets, and there could be a realization about how you're spending your money, what you want to do. Venus is in your 10th house of career, so there's a lot of energy there. Career is like, I think there needs to be some balance there. Hopefully this full moon will mean balance, but you have to have the emotional realization that you need to build the balance for yourself. It's like, I need to draw a line somewhere. Mercury and Mars are in your 9th house of what you believe to be true about life. So this has been a hard philosophical kind of build up to this full moon for you. And I hope that some things clear up with this full moon about what you need in terms of, your everyday life, what kind of framework you need to build to be comfortable in your life. And that's going to have a lot to do with what you're doing in your work. Ask for what you need at work. Aquarius rising, this is your full moon. Okay, this is in the area of identity. You've been doing a lot of work there. Who am I? How am I showing up in the world? And Venus is in your 9th house of truth, higher education, travel. So maybe some truth is coming through your relationships right now, right? Maybe you're having a realization that has to do with uh, the relationships in your life and how much they support you spiritually. Um, Mars and Mercury have been in your 8th house, so shared resources has been hard. Maybe debt, maybe money, maybe that's been difficult, but that's clearing up, and there's going to be something that shifts there. I really do believe that with Uranus trying to it. And it could have a lot to do with home for you as well, Aquarius rising. But this full moon is really going to be like, you know what, I'm stepping out this way. I'm stepping out in my truth. Pisces rising, for you, this full moon is in your 12th house. This is a spiritual realization. I think you're going to be cracked wide open in the best way. Like, this is the thing. Venus is in your 8th house, so you're having some deep, deep realizations. That's the 8th house rules other people's money, inheritance, and contracts. Okay, so maybe you'll be signing a contract around this time that helps you. I really love that. Mars and Mercury have been in your 7th house of relationships, so that could have been frustrating right now. But that again is clearing up. Something will shift there. That does it. All right, guys. I've done my work. I got to go in and watch my kid play volleyball. She's probably done with this tournament, and honestly, it's stressful to watch. So I hope she's won. I love you guys. I'm sorry I didn't go live for it. It's just been busy, and I have to make it work. And that's what I'm doing. All my love for this full moon. Let yourself know something this full moon about your future, about which way you're going. All right, see y'all soon. Bye-bye.